Okay, let's have a look at a exam question, and it's based on the AQA America 1920 to 1973 Opportunity and Inequality paper, and it's the final question on that paper, and it's the essay question. So it's a 12-mark question. SPAG, spelling and punctuation and grammar, isn't measured in that question, but let's have a look at an example question not taken from any exam paper that's been done previously, totally different one that we've just made up to have a look at today. And it is, which of the following groups suffered more in 1920s America? Was it immigrants from southern European countries? Was it Black America? Explain your answer with reference to both bullet points. Very quickly, as a reminder there, it's a 12-mark question, so you should already know that's 3 paragraphs, and generally you want to be spending between 15 and 20 minutes on that kind of question. The question, which isn't from an exam paper, but it's deliberately forcing you to start thinking about immigration policy, how people travelling to America from countries such as Italy were struggling when they arrived in America in the 1920s, and also it's forcing you to start thinking about the experience of Black Americans during 1920s America. So let's have a look at what that essay would look like in a little bit more detail. As I've said, it's 3 paragraphs, so we're going to break it down into the bullet points. It kind of gives you a plan straight away when you see the question. You know that you've got to answer about both bullet points. So essentially, that's paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. Paragraph 1 focusing on problems of Southern Europeans, and in this point you want to be thinking about the immigration laws and how America started bringing in legislation which makes it harder for immigrants from Southern European countries to come to America. White Anglo-Saxon Protestants, WASPs, find it easier to come to America, whereas immigration laws are generally weighted against those from Southern Europe and those from Asia. So you should be including that in your answer. The next one that you should be including is the fact that many immigrants are facing poor jobs and poor housing. It's a very general point, is that one, so you're not going to be able to give much specific detail. So my advice to you would be to focus on that immigration and then look at this final one, the fear of communists and anarchists, this idea of the Red Scare in the 1920s. And our perfect example to use to support this point is the case of Sacco and Vanzetti, the 2 Italians who were arrested, then tried and then finally executed for a murder. It's still debated whether one of them committed the actual murder, but what isn't up for debate is that the way they faced American justice wasn't fair, and it was biased against them for the simple fact they were seen as being Italian anarchists. So that's your first paragraph. Then we move on to paragraph 2, and we're focusing on the problems of Black Americans at that point. Now, straight away, you should know that you'll be writing about Jim Crow laws, this idea of separate but equal. Clearly, it doesn't give the equality to Black Americans. So we separate schools, we see separate cafes, restrooms, we see unequal voting rights. Lots of examples you should be drawing on there. You should be digging through your notes and finding some good detailed examples there. Once again, poor housing, poor jobs, poor wages, and then finally we can be writing about the widespread racism, particularly in the southern states of America, and the growth of the Ku Klux Klan, which in 1920s ends up with a membership of about 1 million people. So you really should be including these kind of things in the paragraphs to answer this question. Finally, for your paragraph structure, it's always a good one to go back to the good old point, evidence, explain, link. Make your point, provide some evidence to support it, explain how that evidence is relevant, and then link it back to the question. I've created another video about the paragraph structure, and I'll add that into the comments below for this video to help you out. So, final paragraph, your judgment, and you really must be including this to get to a level 3. So if you want to get above half marks, you've got to include that 3rd paragraph, which is your judgment. And it's got to be based on the information you've given in paragraph 1 or paragraph 2, or both of them. It's no good really bringing new information in at this point. Try and include it in paragraph 1 and 2. You should be showing how factors link together. So if you've been writing about Jim Crow laws, you could also show how that links to the growth of the Ku Klux Klan. You can be showing this wider issue that black Americans face and using the specific examples you've written about in your paragraph. So there we go. 3 paragraphs, point, evidence, explain, link format, and remember to include the judgment in your essay to get above half marks. Hopefully that's of some use to you. We'll have a look at some more exam questions as we go through, but there's plenty more examples out there, both here that I've put on YouTube and also if you have a look around. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.